Hey guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is Thursday, July 25th and it's 9:15 p.m. I know I'm getting another late start. I apologize, but better late than never. So this is the plan. Stan, whoever Stan is, we're going to be covering the second part of yesterday's post, the 24th. I didn't end up doing a video on that last night because as I was going to bed, Q was still posting. So we're going to cover that first. That's going to be the first video. Then I'm going to come straight back and we're going to look at the post from today, the 25th. So I hope that is okay with you all, and we might as well get started. But before we get started, I want to bring something that's not really related, but I think you're going to be glad that I did bring this to you because I just found out just as I was about to record about this Equifax settlement, and you guys may be eligible. Now, this is where you go to find out. Now, a lot of people are eligible. I have spoken to very few people that were not eligible, but you never know. There was a massive data breach, and as part of the settlement, you can get $125. You may be entitled to more if you spent time fixing credit because your credit was stolen or whatever. So but the very least you can get is 125. So you just fill out your information here and it'll ask you some questions, and then you submit it, and it will just tell you that it's been a success. You have a choice between getting a prepaid credit card with the $125 on it, or you get the choice of getting a check. So that is 125 free dollars, and I figured that I should mention it to you guys because, you know, maybe a good portion of you are eligible, and I would want somebody to tell me. So there you go. All right, well, here's hoping that you're $125 richer tonight. Okay, and now we're going to get on topic and cover Q. All right, hope everybody is doing well this evening. I am late coming, but I'm doing well. So this is where we left off in the last video with the Ilhan Omar interview, where she was saying that, you know, it was really white men that were needed to be profiled and needed to be watched because they were the dangerous ones. So we are going to go on from that one to the next one, and it is this. And this is, well, let's go all the way up to, no, that is it. Okay. Hang on here. I think, yeah, I thought so. Okay, that is where I made it bigger so we could see it. So this is the post right here in its entirety. He is making reference, Q is, to August 31st, 2018, a post that he did, and we're going to look at that below where I've made it bigger because I know there's no hope for you guys on your tiny phones to be able to see this. You know, even if your phones aren't so tiny, it's not easy to see. So there you go. And beneath it, it says worth remembering Q. Now, first of all, too, and I'm sorry that this has to get started so early in the night. I didn't even have to do anything. I just had to show it to him. All right. So, yeah, this is interesting. And before we go into the post, I want to show you something. Now, this is a tweet by Donald Trump. I know you're saying, really? It is. And it says, appreciate it, Lindsey Graham. Thank you. And he is making reference to Graham's statement on Mueller testimony after today's hearing. And for the good of the country, I hope this is the end of the Mueller report. Now it's time to find out how this debacle started and went so far. And I know we all agree with that. But here is the interesting part of this. Well, if I can get it down here. there is a zero delta between Trump posting this and Q posting what we just looked at, the worth remembering thing. So we're going to look at this here. I don't know. I'm telling you. First day with the new hands. So it won't let me stop on that. Why? Why does everything go wrong for me? Sorry if you caught sight of a tail going by the camera. It says, this is a zero delta Donald J. Trump tweet and anon drop. It was at 10:31 p.m., July 24th, 2019. And Q posted this at 21:30. So, yeah, it's like a zero delta Donald J. Trump tweet and QAnon drop, worth remembering Q. So I wanted to point that out, and let's take a look at this a little bit bigger so that we have at least a hope of being able to read it. And I'll make it even bigger for you tiny phone people. And then we will go down to another comment on this. All right. And this was from August 31st, 2018. Special approval. P7291730093991_Z, or Z as you guys call it in the United States, Z if you are in Canada. All right, set up example 1. And there is a link to an article that we're not going to go out to now because we've already dealt with this before. This is a refresher. LL, and that is Loretta Lynch, paper trail, special entry, Natalia Veselnitskaya, have a hard time with those Russian names, Manafort, FISA warrant issued and approved to spy on Manafort, or to surveil him. They really were spying on him. Mueller, Manafort. So Mueller now investigates Manafort. FISA warrant issued and approved for Papadopoulos. That's right. I said Papadopoulos. Mueller then investigates Papadopoulos. FISA warrant issued, approved for Carter Page. Mueller then investigates Carter Page. He becomes part of the investigation. FISA warrant issued and approved for Flynn. Mueller then is able to target Flynn and investigate Flynn. You must target, remove, and silence all those illegally targeted for FISA surveillance, plus UK assist. So the UK assisted in the surveillance through Five Eyes of Manafort, Papadopoulos, that's right, Papadopoulos, and Page. Oh, and Flynn. Manafort, Papadopoulos, Page, and Flynn. And never forget Papadopoulos. Now, so the UK assist plus FISA surveillance included all upstream collection, and we know what that means, plus tangent contracts, umbrella surveillance, foreign target designators, create leapfrog hops to isolated real targets, non-F comms. That got me last time too, and then somebody told me what it was and I felt stupid, and I'm going to feel stupid again because I still can't remember what it is. Section 702. Now, we know that the targets were not Manafort, Papadopoulos, Page, and Flynn. They really weren't the targets. The target was Trump. But because they are able to do this umbrella collection and this leapfrogging, they go so many contacts away from these people. And of course, Trump was a contact for all of them. So they were able to surveil Trump. And that is what Q is reminding us of, and I think he's bringing this stuff back because we're entering into a very critical time, and this has all been given to us to form a basis, a great foundation to build on. However, as we know, each month we pick up more and more and more people that are hearing about Q, and this is all new to them. So it's important for him to go back to refresh our memories, but also to bring the new people up to speed. So that is what he's doing. And he says, example, P talks to X, X talks to Y, Y talks to Z. P, X, Y, Z equals bulk data collection, umbrella. UK assist, Five Eyes, allows for normal FISA law deconstruct. Deconstruct includes D2 spy insert. Deconstruct includes non-FISA warrant, special ops, warrant, special ops, classified, public. Q. Now, I'm going to come down here because the Oppresso Liber has a very good sum up on this. Very good. Q reposting posts re-umbrella surveillance to show deep connection between fake news CIA assets and DOJ FBI senior staff. Shows how they shared intel. UK and Australia assisted in implementation of FISA Spyant on POTUS and his campaign. They pushed and set up connections between Russian contacts and POTUS associates, and also performed data collection and spying via Five Eyes, umbrella collection, etc. They were assisting Obama, Hussein, and Brennan, who were involved in planning and executing the plan from the Situation Room at the White House. Public has only heard about dossier and not about Five Eyes yet. Now, we know about Five Eyes. We've known about it since way back in the beginning. But the media does not, and the general public does not, unless they are awake. Umbrella surveillance, FBI did not have sufficient evidence to target a specific individual who was subject of target, General Flynn, for example. So they target Manafort due to his financial crimes, and as a result of surveillance on Manafort from FISA app, they pick up on all his conversations with another person in POTUS circle, Flynn. They then get FISA warrant on Flynn and record all his conversations with POTUS. Umbrella surveillance. Basically, it's illegal. So that is a very good sum up, and that is kind of a reminder of how we got here. Now, let's go up to the next post. And here we go. As fast as wandering turtles. And then we have this post again on July 24th. Q says, worth remembering. Q. Reiterating it once again. Now, this graphic that we're going to look at, it shows how info moved from the government to the mainstream media. Well, how it was leaked to the mainstream media, because actually that is what occurred. They should not have been giving this information to the mainstream media. There were those dirty, nasty leakers. And the first thing Trump did was plug all the leaks. Now, let's go up to the actual post. I just made this bigger down here so we could see it. Always thinking about you tiny phone people. And here, Q says, once again, worth remembering, Q. And he attaches this graphic. And this is the graphic. We've looked at it before. Again, Q is continuing to remind us of all these critical things and to try to catch up those people that are new so that they're going to understand when all this stuff starts dropping, like the declassification, etc. All right. Now, these circles, these red circles, represent a reporter, and it shows back and forth communication. Now, in this instance, he spoke with the unit chief, he or she, I don't know which. He or she spoke with the unit chief. He or she spoke with the section chief twice. He or she spoke with the secretary once. He spoke with the another secretary once. He spoke with the FBI executive And look at it, went both ways. See, these arrows are only one way. So he spoke to them, but they did not relay any information back to him. But here with this FBI executive, we have a back and forth communication 17 times. 17 times. And here we have a back and forth communication 3 times with the special assistant special agent in charge. And here, this reporter, he or she spoke to the special agent in charge 5 times. And this is unattributed FBI headquarters phone number once. This reporter contacted that. 2 times, both ways. There was information relayed both ways to the supervisory special agent. And here, supervisory special agent, back and forth 3 times, and supervisory inspector 13 times back and forth to this reporter. So this reporter is not only contacting them, and in some cases there's no relation or there's no information being relayed back to that reporter, but in many cases, in a lot of cases, in most of these cases, it was a back and forth. The reporter contacted this person provided them information. Yeah, that's quite alarming. Now, this reporter, contacted the section chief once. This reporter, and I don't know if this is the same reporter or a different one, contacted the assistant director, and this is a back and forth communication 21 times. 21 times. My guess is that they weren't talking about golf or their grandkids or their favorite foods. Yeah, and this reporter spoke with a special agent back and forth with this special agent 23 times. Now, this is all very fascinating because it shows where the leaks were, and there were a lot of them. This was like a leaking sieve. Really. If the FBI was a bucket, it would be a bucket full of holes. As fast as you add information to it, the information flows out. Now, let's come down here. Come on. Ugh. And here we have a reporter back and forth 3 times to the section chief, back and forth to the assistant legal attaché. Once, this unattributed FBI headquarters phone number contacted the reporter. The reporter didn't contact them back. And here is a back and forth between the reporter and a supervisory special agent. Yeah, you can see why we had so much leaked to the mainstream media. Unfortunately, a lot of it was false or slanted in such a way to make Donald Trump, look like they wanted him to look, so that they'd get everybody upset, wanting to impeach him, wanting to get rid of him, and it worked. People are still upset. People still believe it or not, people are still under the impression that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. I know, it's hard for me to believe too, but there are people out there that believe it. Now, let's go up to the next one here. And it is this, and Q includes a drop from, I'm not sure when this was dropped. I'm not sure, it doesn't have a date on it, but this is from July 24th, and he's bringing our attention to this older post of his, and it says, important to remember, correlation between FISA abuse, which is treason, remove duly elected POTUS, and mid-year investigation, Q. So he's saying, this is important to remember, that there's a correlation between the FISA abuse, which is treason, because they were trying to remove a duly elected president, and the mid-year investigation. So let's come down here and let's look at this. FBI and DOJ corruption, Federal Bureau of Investigation, James Comey, director, fired. Andrew McCabe, deputy director, fired. Jim Rybicki, chief of staff and senior counselor, fired. James Baker, general counsel, fired. Bill Presap, director of counterintelligence, Strzok's boss, cooperating witness, but his power is removed. Peter Strzok, deputy assistant director of counterintelligence, fired. Lisa Page, office of general counsel, fired, forced to leave. Mike Cortan, assistant director for public affairs, fired. Josh Campbell, special assistant to Comey, fired. Michael Steinbeck, John Glasalone, Randy Coleman, Trisha Anderson, Kevin Kleinsmith, Tashina Gauhar. Sally Moyer, Department of Justice. David Loffman, Chief of the Justice Department's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, National Security, HRC email investigation, fired, forced to leave. John Carlin, Assistant Attorney General, Head of DOJ National Security Division, fired, forced to leave. Sally Yates, Deputy Attorney General and Acting Attorney General, fired. Mary McCord, Acting Assistant Attorney General, Acting Head of DOJ's National Security Division, fired, forced to leave. Bruce Orr, Associate Deputy Attorney General, demoted 2 times, cooperating witness, but his power is removed. Termination is imminent. Rachel Brand, Associate Attorney General, number 3 official behind Deputy AG Rosenstein, fired, forced to leave. Nothing to see here. Who ordered? PDB. That's another one that I'm going to be embarrassed when somebody says, it's this, and I'll go, oh, of course it's that. But right now, yeah, the brain is not firing on all cylinders tonight for some reason. Anyway, this is extrovert covert, and he notates the following. It says post 2070 is a redrop. Text reads, remember, there's a direct relationship between FISA abuse and the attempted coup to remove the duly elected POTUS. Also to fix an election, putting criminal in the executive seat. Also ties to mid-year investigation. Yeah. That's one corrupt FBI, isn't it? Very, very corrupt. But they're cleaning it out, just like a wound. They're cleaning all that stuff out. You know, when you get a spider bite or something and it eats away your flesh, they got to go in there and dig it all out. And then they you know, put disinfectant and they pack it and it's able to heal. But until all of that pus and infection is out of the FBI, it's going to continue to fester. All right. And this is the FBI chain of command for the mid-year investigation. Chart graphic is added to the prior 2070 drop. Since many of these names have been fired or forced out, there is very good chance the D class will reveal their role in FISA abuse and the plan to take down a duly elected president. So Q, he posts this again, what we just looked at, and he adds this graphic, which is the chain of command for the mid-year investigation. Now, I guess I didn't. I thought I had made this bigger, but I didn't, and that's not good. So let me see. I may have to go back to Q and find this so that we can look at it. Don't forget to claim your free money there. Now, let me see. Let's see where this is. There's been a lot of posts, let me tell you. A lot of posts. Q has been busy, busy, busy. Sorry, I neglected to include that. Well, that's not going to be very big either. Maybe that's why I didn't include it. Let's see if we got a bigger one here somewhere. There we go. Maybe this one will work. Well, it's not much bigger. Let's see. Control plus. It's not getting any bigger. So let me see. The FBI director was James Comey. Chief of staff was Jim Rybicki. They're gone. Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, he's gone. Special Counsel Lisa Page, she's gone. NSA Michael Steinbeck, I'm not sure. John Glacioni, I think they're gone. Not sure. Jim Baker gone. Tricia Anderson, not sure. FBI Attorney 1 and 2. Agent Lead, Peter Strzok, he's definitely gone. Supervisory Special Agent Sally Moyer, and I'm quite sure she's gone. The one I'm not sure of is Jim Baker. I'm not sure if he's gone or not. Well, let's find out. Not that Jim Baker. I guess it's James Baker. Yeah, let me see here. Previous White House, 19 more, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. So that is the, chain of command for the mid-year investigation. And unfortunately, most of those people are gone. And well, quite fortunately for our country, that is for darn sure. The more of these guys we get rid of that are part of that festering wound, get it out so we can clean that wound out and recover. All right, let's go back. No, really, let's. Okay, and let's go up to here. No, seriously, let's. Okay, here is the next one. And nope, we got to go up a little further. We got to go up all the way to here. All right, and we're still on July 24th. And now you know why I didn't come back to do the part 2, because I would have had to just come back and do a part 3 because Q was posting way, late. So, okay, this Q draws our attention to a post that, hang on here, sorry, I know. I'm annoying myself. If it's any consolation, I'm annoying myself. So there, you should feel better. You should feel better that you're feeling annoyed right now, and because I'm equally as annoyed with myself. All right. Now, okay, I guess, yeah, this is, all right, here we go. This is it. I thought that we were missing something, but this is a very long post. July 24th, and he's alluding to this earlier post where it said, everything stated has meaning. What is the significance of Nellie Orr being fluent in Russian? And of course, this is from August 30th. Okay, this post right here from August 30th, 2018. Everything stated has meaning. What is the significance of Nellie Orr being fluent in Russian? Is Russian a common language to learn? No. Why might this language be studied? Well, if you're in politics and you're doing foreign, whatever, any side, or as the case is here with Nellie Orr, or your CIA, yeah, Russian would become very, very useful. So is Russian a common language? No. Why might it be studied? Well, CIA might be really interested in studying it. What position might this language be useful? CIA. What the farm requires select skill sets. And of course, the farm is CIA. That's definitely CIA. They call it the farm. Q. And underneath, Q is asking, July 24th, why is Bruce Orr still at Justice? Nellie Orr, CIA. Fluent in Russian? Yes, she is fluent in Russian. And yes, she is CIA. And yes, Bruce Orr is still at the Justice as a cooperating witness. Now, and there is a link here that we're going to be going out to. But first, this is all linked to the same post. This is from September 11th, 2018, and it is a previous Q post. He said, panic in D.C. Bruce Orr in effort to save Nellie Orr testifying against Rosenstein, Yates, Lynch, and Comey. Now, I know it's asked as a question, but that's not how Q is meaning it. His questions are statements, 99% of the time. So Bruce Orr, in effort to save Nellie Orr, is testifying against Rosenstein, Yates, Lynch, and Comey. Not so good for them. Q. And this too is connected to the same post. And it says, well, it's just exactly what was up above. Everything stated has meaning. What is its significance? And then why is Bruce Orr at the Justice? And so forth. And then we're going to go out to this link that Q provided us, because if he provides it, I think it would be good to go and see what it is. Congressional investigators seeking Nellie Orr's opposition research records on Trump family. Now, this was published 6 days ago. Q just drew our attention to it. And let's take a look here. Republican House investigators are working to obtain records from Russia probe figure Nellie Orr containing opposition research on then presidential candidate Donald Trump, his wife, and children, two sources familiar with the matter told Fox News. Orr has long been of interest to those looking into the genesis of the FBI's probe into Russia and the Trump campaign during the 2016 election. She worked for the opposition research firm Fusion GPS, which was behind the infamous Democratic-funded dossier of salacious claims about Trump. She is also married to Bruce Orr, a Justice Department official whose connection to Fusion GPS led to his eventual demotion. During her December 2018 closed-door deposition on Capitol Hill, Nellie Orr told investigators she did the opposition research on the Trump family for Fusion GPS. Sources said her project predated the hiring of former British spy Christopher Steele, who compiled the dossier. I was asked to research Trump's family broadly in connection with any Russian connections, she said. Nellie Orr confirmed to investigators that she explored family members' foreign travel, among other issues. I did some research on all of them, but not in much depth, she said. She also said the purpose was to see whether they were involved in dealings and transactions with people who had suspicious pasts or suspicious types of dealings. At the time of her testimony, Nellie Orr said she was still in possession of the research, but was unclear whether it was hers to share or whether it was owned by her former employer, Fusion GPS. Do you still possess the research that you performed? A Republican investigator asked her during the interview. Yes, she responded. Would you be willing to share that with the committee? I guess so, Nellie Orr said. Fox News has reached out to Nellie Orr's lawyer asking if she remains willing to provide the records, if turning over the documents requires a subpoena, and what has accounted for the 6-month delay. It is not publicly known whether any of her research was reflected in the dossier, which also looked at the travel history of former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen, among others. Bruce Orr's action during that time have been of interest to investigators, as it is believed he was the back channel between Steele, the Trump dossier, author and the FBI. So, interesting. I think that is the end of the article. Yes. Now, let's go back and let's look at this by D. Oppresso Lieber. Q asks why Bruce Orr is still at the DOJ. I think that's obvious. Because he's a cooperating witness. He's providing valuable assistance in the counter intel investigation. His wife Nellie was collecting intel on POTUS family for Fusion to use to try and blackmail POTUS. She was likely a double agent for Russia and the CIA. Congressional investigation now collecting her research, using against Obama, Hussein, and Clinton's in their prosecution to show they were ultimately behind this. And they were. Absolutely. Obama and Clinton were at the head of it. All else trickled down. All right. They never thought she would lose. I don't know why, though. Just look at her. But I think that they thought they had it all sewed up and in the bag. I think that they thought, yeah, we're going to steal this election. Didn't work out so well. All right. Now we're going up to the next one, which begins where? It begins right here. All right. We're still on the 24th. Haven't crossed over into the 25th yet, but we should be doing that shortly, to tell you the truth. So this is, there are two former posts that Q links to. Then he says in kill brackets, or, whatever you want to call them. They can be whatever you want them to be. They can be, I don't know, what else do they look like? Brackets, that's what they look like to me. Anyway, knowingly. So it's in those kill brackets, and it's 3 times that he states that. Knowingly, Q. Why does he say knowingly 3 times? We're gonna find out. Really. Now, this is the first one that he links to above. I've just made it bigger for the tiny phone people. Always thinking about you tiny phone people. All right. This one says, remember this important fact. Adam Schiff is part of the Gang of 8 intel. It will become critical once Gang of 8 material is declassified. And this is from, by the way, March 14th, 2019. So not that many months ago. It will become critical once Gang of 8 material is declassified. Logical question. If Adam Schiff knew everything he's investigating and stating publicly, sorry, oh my gosh, it took right over my face. Glad I recovered from that. I know half of you are yawning now. I know it. Anyway, he's investigating and stating publicly to be knowingly false disinformation. Why then would he take the course of actions ongoing? Did Adam Schiff purposefully deceive the American public, thinking the Gang of 8 material and other classified documentation would never reach the public domain? Yes, exactly. Because no fool, if they knew it was going to be declassified, no fool would continually lying knowingly. What insurance did they hang over POTUS' head in order to prevent action? Well, they threatened his children, is what they did. And so, yeah. And then Q says, a father's love for his children knows no bounds. Q. So that is the first one that Q linked to. And we're going to look at this second one that Q has linked to here. And it says, Congressman Adam Schiff, who spent 2 years knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking, he's a leaky liar, should be forced to resign from Congress. Knowingly. Now this is from March 28th, 2019. And he just repeated the same thing yesterday. Knowingly, knowingly, knowingly. Leaking investigations can lead to forced resignations. Knowingly disseminating false information is illegal. Gang of 8 intel. Q. Now, and we're going to come back to the knowingly because we're going to find out presently why that knowingly is in there 3 times in 2 posts. Now, this from De Oppresso Liber, and I like his sum up here. Punishment for knowingly leaking classified intel is life in prison and or death penalty. And what did Attorney General Barr just bring back today? The death penalty. Oh yes, he sure did. He brought back the death penalty today. It's a crime of treason. And you can bet that that is why they just brought it back. Because some of these people are going to face it. Yeah, so it's life in prison and or death penalty. It's a crime of treason. The spy operation against POTUS, excuse me for a moment. Okay, he's gone. Hang on here. No. Sorry. Excuse me. It was a cat moment. Let me see here. It's a crime of treason. The spy operation against POTUS was run from the top by Hussein, Obama. Clinton's and go-betweens were Schumer, Brennan, McCain, Comey, Lynch, and Clapper. Adam Schiff, part of Gang of 8 intel leakers, Q continues to emphasize the importance of the public being aware that Adam knowingly lied to perpetrate fraud on the American people and to initiate a coup, knowingly advocating the overthrow of the government of President results in punishment by fine or imprisonment up to 20 years. Adam going to prison for a long time for this crime. He's going to go to prison for a long time for this crime, not to mention all his other crimes. Schiff will ultimately be removed from Congress for his involvement in spreading falsities and knowingly lying about POTUS during the Mueller investigation. It's bad for little Adam Schiff right now. POTUS will keep the pressure on along with congressional Republicans. There's 5 knowingly listed with 3 left blank. Knowingly what? That will be discovered as the Gang of 8 docs are declassified. Schiff is in panic mode. That's why he always looks like this. Yeah. I know I nailed it, didn't I? Okay, let's go on now. We can go on. Okay, this is the next one. We are going to get back to the knowinglys because it comes up again. Now, this is again July 24th. He drops this, which is a previous post from August 9th, 2018, and below he says, important to remember, public guide D-class Q. Now, that's not the first time it was dropped, and this was provided last time it was dropped, and I remember going over it then, but I'm sure so much has passed between then and now that many, if not all of you, do not remember. So we're taking this exact post from August 9th, 2018, and we have it all. We will declass. There is nowhere to hide. And it says a silent preemptive coup d'etat was attempted through the White House. Hussein, Valerie Jarrett, Dennis McDonough, Joe Biden, Rahm Emanuel, John Kerry, JK in a triple kill box, Samantha Powers, Karen Mills, JK. I should know that. Anyway, I'm telling you, brain not firing on all cylinders tonight. So to Hillary Rodham Clinton, Democratic National Committee, CIA, John Brennan, felony class 1, 2, 5, no such agency strategy deployment exposed, timetable, Director National Intelligence, James Clapper. So he's decoding all of these, names in the kill boxes here, and how, this happened. What was, so then, let me see, Director National Intelligence, James Clapper, Department of Justice, Loretta Lynch, Sally Yates, Bruce Orr, Christopher Steele in the UK, David Loffman, Peter Strzok, DL, John Carlin, Mary McCord, Rachel Brand, 2, Bill Clinton. Some of this drop code reads in reverse. And so they were passing information to Bill Clinton and so forth. FBI, James Comey, Andrew McCabe, James Rybicki, Michael Steinbeck, Bill Priesap, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, James Baker, Mike Cortan, Josh Campbell, Sally Moyer, Tashina Gohar, and Kevin Kleinsmith. And that was back and forth between Hillary Rodham Clinton, Bill Clinton, Huma Abedin, Cheryl Mills, Chelsea Mezvinsky. Chelsea isn't smart enough, but she's family. Deep State, fake news. No Name was passing things to the media. We know that. John Brennan, James Comey, leaks of the daily briefing by FBI officials. John Brennan and James Comey were leaking the daily briefings. And that's why POTUS did away with that. But they were leaking that to No Name. No Name was giving it to the media. Fusion GPS, Shell 2, Christopher Steele to No Name, to McCain. So Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele was passing it to McCain. And Perkins Coie is the Shell. Shell 2 is Perkins Coie. So No Name would pass, let me see here. No Name would pass it to... No, Fusion GPS would pass it to Perkins Coie. Perkins Coie would pass it to Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele would pass it back to No Name. Now, Washington Free Beacon, the Shell notations appear to be substitutes for names which likely cannot be given at this time, or in this context we may know these individuals or groups, but today they remain veiled. And down a little further, we've got Hillary Rodham Clinton, John Podesta, Robbie Mook, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, James Clapper or James Comey, PM, MI6, SIS, spy activities, UK intelligence agencies were actively helping Five Eyes, CrowdStrike, and Perkins Coie retained Fusion GPS to conduct the questionable research on behalf of both of the Clinton campaigns and the DNC that ultimately resulted in the now infamous, largely discredited dossier claiming that President Donald Trump's campaign colluded with Russia. Michael Sussman, a partner with Perkins Coie, who also represented the DNC, was involved in bringing in CrowdStrike after the DNC suspected its servers had been hacked. CrowdStrike then identified hacker groups allegedly tied to Russia. And of course, we know that that has all been debunked because we know that was Seth Rich. The tarmac meeting was about no changes for Hillary Rodham Clinton in exchange for a Supreme Court seat. Earlier meeting led to the Bill Clinton Loretta Lynch tarmac meeting. Hussein passes 3 national security orders as a stealth cover methodology. POTUS 45 can declassify actions surrounding those orders. The FISA warrant conspiracy moves forward. UK becomes involved and passes surveillance through their Five Eyes networking format. The CIA was involved surveilling domestically. In this, they have no dispensation. It is not their charter to operate domestically. This was John Brennan's command working under Hussein's administration. It all points to the top, to Hussein and his deep state overlords. They didn't see that with all of their redundancy, she could still lose. But she did. She did. So never put your eggs all in one basket. Because somebody could just come and sit on those eggs and squash them. Not deep, but true. All right, now let's go up to the next. And it is here. Again, we're on July 24th, coming to the end of July 24th, and we're going to look at this. Now, there's important things about this, and let me see. One is the signature page that Q wants to draw our attention to, and I've got to find out where that is. Where is the signature page? I think maybe he tells us. But within this document, knowingly is in there 3 times. Yeah, now we're going to come up because we're going to explain what this is. Oh, excuse me. Had to save my couch. All right, and yeah, let's go back here. And we're going to come up to the next post. We're going to be looking at this a little bit more in depth. So here, Q draws our attention to the last drop that we just looked at here with this document, and it says late last bread. I'm not sure why he put that, but anyway. Then beneath it, he put important signature page, D class for specific reason, public, analyze carefully, relevant to future pending events. Q. So that executive order that we just looked at, 12333, was signed on December 4th, 1981 by President Ronald. I'm thinking about Trump. Signed by President Ronald Reagan. And it was an executive order intended to extend powers and responsibilities of U.S. intel agencies and direct the leaders of federal agencies to fully cooperate with CIA requests for information. Now, let's come up a little bit because this is all going to start to make sense. And the signature page is signed because there was an update to that, and it was signed by Clapper and Lynch shortly after POTUS was elected. Why? Well, our good friend Dio Presso Lieber lays it out really well. Hang on. Q linked to the procedures put out by Director of National Intelligence, signed off by Clapper and Lynch after POTUS was elected. Clapper signed off and for the release of raw signal intel collected by NSA to be used by entire intel community. Before Clapper and Lynch signed off on this, use of intel collected by NSA was restricted to very few who could access it with top-level security clearance. This made it easier for all agents under DNI to access Department of National Intelligence to access and use against POTUS admin during their attempted coup. So this way, they could share it among all they could all share this info. Anything collected by the NSA or what have you, any intel collected on Trump, they could all collect it and make use of it. And it wouldn't just be restricted to those few people, within the NSA. So the fact this was signed and approved in December 2016 and January 2017, immediately before POTUS took office, is evidence of what they were up to. They were cocky and confident that they would be able to either impeach or assassinate POTUS before 2020 elections and cover this up. Boy, were they wrong. Yes, they were. So isn't that interesting? It was originally signed by Ronald Reagan. He is the president that put that executive order out, but Clapper and Lynch signed off for the release of raw signal intel collected by NSA to be used by the entire intel community. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I'm sorry. This is the director of national intelligence. So yeah, that's very telling, really. That just in itself is very telling. Why would they try to push that through just right before POTUS gets in there? Right before our current POTUS gets in there. Yeah, they were already thinking about this. And it was signed by Clapper and Lynch. All right. Now, and you know, that document that we just looked at, and of course it's very long, we couldn't go through it all, and I don't think it would be necessary anyway, but that document was not to be declassified until 2041. Q is saying there is a reason they wanted to keep it classified for 20 plus years. Q asks us to archive the document. So isn't that interesting? Because up here, Q says, check the D-class on date anons classified by 2476680 derived from NSA CSSM 1 to 52, declassify on 20411231. So it would be December 31st, 2041. That is when that document that we just looked at was to be declassified. But it has been declassified, according to Q right here, this has been declassified 22 years earlier than it should have been. What does that tell you? And who declassified it? He did. That Trump administration declassified it. And then he's saying archive and save will become extremely important. Q. Yes, I think it's going to be critical because it shows intent. They did this right before POTUS got in, so he wouldn't see it, wouldn't know about it. It was done and over, and then they declassified it, or they classified it to not be declassed until 2041. Trump would be probably gone by then, certainly gone from office. Hopefully not gone. But anyway, yeah. And Trump declassified it because it shows that they had changed that document to be able to share the intel among all of the intel agencies. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating. All right, now I believe this starts, nope, this is still July 24th. I'm telling you, it was a long one. All right, now let's look at this. No, really, let's. Okay, this is, I was going to say it's our pal, Jeffrey Epstein, but he's no pal of us. No, he is an enemy of the people. And he is an enemy of children everywhere. So, Q makes reference to this, posted by an anon, who posted this by Ryan Saavedra. Breaking, Jeffrey Epstein found injured in New York City jail cell after possible suicide attempt or assault. Epstein found injured on floor of New York City jail cell. Well, isn't that interesting? Yes, it is. So beneath that, Q says, eyes on Q. Now, let's go take a look at this because you're going to find it very interesting. A lot of conflicting things about this, and I'll tell you, as soon as I heard this, I didn't believe he tried to commit suicide. And I'll tell you why. The very first reports that came out said he was found only semi-conscious in his jail cell in a fetal position with, marks to his neck.
how does that make it suicide? Because if he had tried to commit suicide, he'd be hanging from a rope, not semi-conscious on the floor with marks on his neck. Because how did he get to the floor? Where was the rope? Or whatever he tried to hang himself with. Doesn't make sense. And for many other reasons. Accused pedophile and wealthy Manhattan financier Jeffrey Epstein was found injured and in fetal position inside his cell at a New York City jail, according to sources close to the investigation. Epstein, who is being held in Metropolitan Correctional Center as he awaits his trial for conspiracy and sex trafficking, was found semi-conscious with marks on his neck. Two sources told News 4. Investigators are trying to piece together exactly what happened, saying details remain murky. Well, yes, I bet they do. They usually do remain murky when somebody's lying, and they are. Anyway, we're going to get into a little bit of this. Two sources tell News 4 that Epstein may have tried to hang himself. Yeah, right. While a third source cautioned that the injuries were not serious and questioned if Epstein might be using it as a way to get a transfer. Possible. A fourth source said an assault has not been ruled out and that another inmate was questioned. The inmate, who investigators have talked to in Lower Manhattan facility, have been identified as Nicholas Tartaglione? Tartaglione? I don't know. That's a rough name. According to two sources, he's a former police officer in Westchester County who was arrested in December 2016 and accused of killing 4 men in an alleged cocaine distribution conspiracy, then burying their bodies in his yard in Otisville in Orange County, according to court records. Now, please tell me why. Please, somebody tell me why Jeffrey Epstein would be placed with a bad cop who murdered 4 people. Because let me tell you, wouldn't you think that they'd want to keep him alive so he can testify? What is gained if he dies? Really? Well, the thing that's gained, it's great for the deep state that are involved. It's wonderful for them. But whose bright idea was it to put him in a cell with a bad cop that murdered 4 people? And this person was caught illegally with a cell phone in the cell. So was he recording something to send to the deep state? Was he paid to do this? Was he offered something in return? I don't know. But why the heck are they not keeping better watch on him? They should have eyes on him 24/7. And when one person gets tired of watching, the next person comes in. And somebody needs to be watching that. I know they have, don't they have like surveillance in the cells for somebody as high profile as him? Are you kidding me? Really? How did they even get to him? Unbelievable. There is no way he was attempting suicide. No freaking way. Because he was waiting for an appeal as well, for bail and for something else, work release. Why would you kill yourself when you've got an appeal pending? That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make a lick of sense. But, they think we're stupid. Epstein and Tartaglione were cellmates. Stupid. Whoever made them cellmates is just plain stupid. Two sources tell NBC for New York, Tartaglione, I can't pronounce that. Mr. T, that's what I'm going to call him. Mr. T's attorney confirmed they shared the same cell block. Subsequently, on Thursday, a senior official reiterated that all 3 series, attempted suicide, try for transfer, and attack by inmate, are still in play. I mean, the suicide is ludicrous. These people are like way out there. Sources told News 4 investigators questioned Mr. T, and the former cop claimed not to have seen anything and insisted he did not touch Epstein, sources said. Well, what else is he going to say? Really? No, I didn't touch him. No, wasn't me. I didn't see anything. They're in the same unit and doing well, said Bruce Barkett, an attorney for Mr. T. He said any claim that Mr. T might have assaulted Epstein is absolutely not true. Well, what else is his attorney going to say? Be a pretty poor attorney if he said, oh, I think he did it. Yep, I think he did it. Epstein is now on suicide watch inside MCC, according to two sources. Attorneys for Epstein did not immediately return calls for comment. Oh, wait, Barkett said Mr. T and Epstein have been complaining about conditions inside the MCC, including flooding, rodents, and bad food. Well, if anyone deserves bad food, it's Epstein, considering all the things that he has eaten. And rodents, I think that's great. The rodents are in great company there. Well, he's in great company with the rodents because they're both rats. So a spokesman for the Bureau of Poisons confirmed to News 4 that Epstein was treated inside an MCC infirmary and not taken to a hospital. He currently remains inside MCC. As with all inmates, for privacy and security reasons, we do not share information on inmates' medical status or their conditions of confinement, the spokesperson said. Spokesman for the U.S. Marshals and U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment. Lisa Bloom, Lisa Bloom, a lawyer who, well, she is representing some of Epstein's accusers, so I shouldn't badmouth her. Lisa Bloom, a lawyer who represents some of Epstein's accusers, tweeted Thursday that neither her clients nor she wish suicide upon anyone, nor even a recidivist predator who has tricked and hurt so many women. No, I don't want Epstein to commit suicide, and really, I don't think any of us should, because he needs to stand trial for what he's done, and he needs to spill his guts regarding his associations and how they're connected. All right. We want him to stay alive to face the justice and accountability, which is so long overdue, Bloom tweeted, and it's coming. Gloria Allred, who is also representing, that is Lisa Bloom's mother, is Gloria Allred, who is representing multiple Epstein accusers, echoed Bloom's statements saying his alleged victims have been waiting for their day when he may be held accountable for what they accuse him of doing over the years. We don't know at this point whether his injuries are caused by a suicide attempt or an attack by others. However, he sustained his injuries. We want him to be forced to face a jury and respond to the serious charges that he is facing, Allred said. Justice for victims whose young lives he has impacted is long overdue. Most recently, in the sex trafficking case against Epstein, the wealthy financier has been denied bail on July 18th following a bombshell search warrant revelation that Epstein had a fake passport and piles of cash and diamonds stashed in a safe inside his $77 million Manhattan home. U.S. District Judge Richard Berman cited risk of flight and danger to the community in his decision against Epstein, a registered sex offender and private island owner who faces new federal charges of exploiting dozens of underage girls in New York and Florida in the early 2000s. That means Epstein would remain behind bars pending trial, a date for the start of which has not been set. Defense attorneys filed their notice of appeal to the bail ruling on Monday. So, yeah, his lawyers file an appeal to the bail ruling, and he goes and commits suicide before he even knows the answer? I don't think so. So, this is all very interesting, and I cannot for the life of me understand why they don't have surveillance cameras in there, considering he is such a high-risk inmate, and I also don't understand why they would give him the cellmate that they gave him. Now, I don't think Jeffrey Epstein would probably kill anyone in his cell because he's trying to get off. But most certainly, why would you put a guy, a dirty cop who murdered 4 people? Why would you do that? Brain damage? I don't know. Epstein has pleaded not guilty to conspiracy and sex trafficking charges brought by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan. The financier's next court date is set for July 31st. So, let's go back now. Don't forget to claim your free money. All right, and let's go up. to here, and we're still on July 24th, believe it or not. And Q is making reference to this post from the 15th of July 2019. How do you eliminate a liability? Where is Epstein being held? Reconcile. Do you believe in coincidences? Powerful people connected? Panic. Q. And then he has a link, and it says painfully obvious or willfully ignorant. Q. And is this the same one we just looked at? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. So we're going to take a look at this now. All right, Jeffrey Epstein found injured with marks on his neck in New York jail cell, sources say. Anybody interested in a new car? I'm just asking. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein found injured with marks on his neck in New York jail cell. Jeffrey Epstein, the millionaire financier who is being held on federal sex trafficking charges, was found injured, and this is the same one, isn't it? If not, it's extremely similar. Yeah, this is pretty much the same thing. So let's go back, because time's a ticking. I can't believe how long this has taken, and I'm trying to rush through it. All right, so let's go up to, and we are on to the 25th now. So yeah, all these things about Epstein, and I'm seeing now that different sources are saying different things. Nobody can get their story together on what happened to Epstein, but I can assure you it was not suicide. If it was attempted suicide, they would know immediately, because they'd come in and there would be a rope or something. And don't they take all that away from prisoners? Especially a prisoner like him. They would take away anything, shoelaces, anything that you could possibly hang yourself with. But you would see something hanging if he was trying to hang himself. But no, they found him semi-conscious in a fetal position. So what did he do? Just change his mind and get down? Doesn't make sense. All right, that's it for the 24th, and we are going on to the 25th now. Yes, we are. So not in this video, though. This is the end of this video. I'm going to get this uploaded, so you'll all won't think that so none of you will think that I haven't posted tonight. So I'm going to get this uploaded, and I will be back shortly, and I will be back. So there you go. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, what if Q is still posting because it's the 25th and it's not midnight yet? Well, if he is, I'm going to do the posts up to the point where I look at them, and I'll have to do a part 2 tomorrow to those posts. So that is the plan of action. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all. I really do. And you have a great night. Sleep well, stay safe, and keep seeking truth. Good night.